That's such a fun song.
I love it so much. There's an energy and like euphoric element just to listening, and it always puts a smile on my face.
It gives me that kind of like early 2010s like indie alternative rock kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Like when that type of stuff was being played on like the radio, and it was, I don't know, it's a really fun vibe that I like a lot. I also like that it kind of like has a few different distinct sections, and the one spot where it like almost gets a little bit heavier with like the palm muting and the like like everybody's playing the same rhythm together, but then
almost like a little breakdown in there.
Yeah, but then everything else feels like super open and like just has like a great vibe to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They're incredible, and it's nice to see more Latin artists coming in. They have a whole verse in there that's in Spanish. It's nice to see more, you know, not just diversity in the artists, but in the language, you know, because music is universal. If something sounds good, you're going to listen to it and it's going to get stuck in your head. And it can be a bridge to discovering new things, you know, discovering new ways of writing music, new ways of speaking, new ways of listening. And you don't necessarily need to understand every word to vibe with it and to understand the feeling of it. And that's one of my favorite parts about that band.
I also just really like, it feels like almost a resurgence of bands that just make straight up fun music. Like I feel like there was almost a point when, and it was kind of around the time that like the pop punk took like a downturn and like all of that. It felt like music just generally almost like started taking itself too seriously a little bit.
Exactly.
And I feel like we've kind of like swung too far and are like readjusting and starting to like have more bands that are just writing fun songs that serve no real greater purpose aside from just uniting people and having a good time, which I think is ultimately like the best purpose to make music.
100%. I mean, if it's not some sort of cathartic release of, you know, getting past trauma or you know, some sort of therapeutic element to it, which a lot of music is, you know, it should be a thing that's meant to bring people together, you know, so they can celebrate and experience joy. And that's one of the biggest things to me about this community we're in now, is it just like, it's got a lot of people, but it's not just like a bunch of angry people. It's people who look out for each other. It's people who take care of each other, take care of the, you know, more vulnerable people in their community. You don't see a lot of people get away with shit around here, which is awesome. People are held accountable. Has not always been the case, and it's always something you're trying to be better at too. Is you know, looking out for your friends and making sure that they don't make mistakes. And you know, it's not just about protecting people from getting hurt. It's protecting people from hurting other people. And sometimes that isn't a deliberate decision. You know, sometimes people get carried away in emotion and do stupid, even horrible things because they just aren't thinking. You know what I mean? And
sure.
It's important to keep people in check and you know, for there to be consequences for those things. You know, not to get too deep into that discussion, but it's important to have people looking out for each other, and I think that's a big part of this community. And it allows you to be free and free from worrying about things like judgment and how is this going to come across. No, I'm just going to go present my thing that I care about and that I love. And if people like it, awesome. You know, if they don't, I don't need to worry about getting the shit beat out of me.
That's why I've gotten so into, I think, the DIY scene over the last few years, is that it feels like it is such a welcoming place where everybody's just, you know, trying to support each other and have a good time. And ultimately, I think that music that unites us is really the highest form of music. I don't know. I think that's my final takeaway there.
I can absolutely agree with that, because it's just, you know, it's something just meant to bring people together. I mean, some of the best music is when you can just listen and you don't think so much about what is happening and the lyrics and the message and what they're trying to say. Just let them say it and you figure the rest out for yourself as you go.
So before we sign off here, do you want to give us just one more time a little bit of promotion for the EP and the upcoming single?
Yeah, absolutely. So Cascadent is releasing our next single, Sunset in a Sense, on Tuesday, September 19th. To my understanding, when this releases, it'll already be out. We've got another EP that should be out before the end of the year. We don't have a date released on it yet, but we also have another EP that's due out in 2024 that is ready to go, having it mixed right now. We're really excited to get more content put together and share that with the world as well.
All right, awesome. Be sure to keep an eye out for all of those releases. This has been the Fresh Finds Podcast, the show about listening to new music with good people.